Okay, so in this video, we're taking a look at the difference between the epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. Now, the epidermis consists of 5 layers. 5 layers. And all layers start with the word stratum. They all start with the word stratum. And of course you can look these up. I'm not going to go into the video here. Here I just want to give you the big picture about the difference between epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. So the layers, if you use this mnemonic here, come, let's get sunburn. This mnemonic here will help you to remember these layers. Because remember, they all start with stratum, 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 and the easy way to remember that is, and again, here is the outer layer of the skin. This is the skin that when you see people, when you're looking at people's skin, this is what you're looking at here. This is the most superficial layer, and the layer here at the bottom, the stratum basal, this is the one at the bottom. So the epidermis, the point here is the epidermis itself has 5 layers. 5 layers. So all of this here, if you stick a needle going down into your skin, coming from the outside going in, you're going to go through 5 layers, and those 5 layers are the epidermis. Now, one of those layers, the L here, the stratum lucidum is the name. This stratum lucidum is only in the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. So what does that mean? That means that the majority of the human body, except for the palms and the soles of the feet, only has 4 layers. Only has 4 layers. Why? Because again, the stratum lucidum is only in the palms of your hand and the soles of the feet. That means everywhere else in the body is only 4 layers. And that is the difference between thick and thin skin. We'll talk about that in another video. But again, the main point to remember here is the epidermis has 5 layers. Come, let's get sunburned. That's how the acronym, you can remember the names of each layer. And each layer has something going on with the cells within them. Now the next 2 layers. The next 2. Remember the first 5 is the epidermis. The next 2 layers are the dermis. So how many we have so far? We have 5 in the epidermis, 2 in the dermis. So far we have 7 layers. If you stick a needle going all the way down in here, you're going to go through 7 layers. So the next 2 are the dermis. And the dermis has 2 layers. The one closest to the epidermis is the papillary layer. And the one under that is the reticular layer. So the dermis has 2 layers there. And the last one, even though I'm going to call it 1, is not really considered a part of the skin, but it's called the hypodermis. Hypodermis. And the hypodermis has lots of fats and blood cells, all a lot of stuff in here. This is not considered a part of the skin, but for the sake of understanding the big picture here, if you stuck a needle at the top part of your skin in your palm or your sole, and you went down, you would go through 5 layers of the epidermis, 2 layers of the dermis, and then you would hit the hypodermis. Now, actually, under the hypodermis, if we really want to get technical here, don't have any room here, but under the hypodermis, you then have muscle, and then bone, technically. So we were looking at 7 layers here, plus muscle, plus bone. And if you really want to be technical, you can go all the way into bone marrow, but we won't get into that in this video, but I think you got the big picture here. 5 layers of the epidermis, 2 layers of the dermis, 1 of the hypodermis, even though the hypodermis is not really a part of the skin.